Boom! We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Life as a Chad YouTube channel. And I thank all of you for being here, wherever you may be. And of course, however you may be listening. I'm still low-key recovering from heat exhaustion that I suffered over the weekend. I was out in about 106-degree heat for several hours, and it was absolutely brutal. But I did just want to not be completely unproductive, and I wanted to do a quick video and react to my time on the Grace Thorpe channel. Now, I did tell you guys that that was going to be it for me with content, and I do think that that's going to be pretty much it. Grace did say that she would be open to having a further discussion. Um, you know, uh, and I always tell you guys, for me specifically, YouTube is more of a fun thing to do on the side, kind of as a just as a hobby, really, to discuss certain things. And does that mean I'm not open to this channel becoming huge and reaching a bigger audience and things? Of course, that would be awesome, and I am open to that. But um what I mean to say when I say that is that, because I always get these comments like, you should go on this channel, you should reach out to this person, you should. And I don't disagree with you guys, but that takes a lot of time. It takes a ton of time that, quite frankly, I really don't have. And as far as Grace goes, she did say that she was open to having a discussion, a more in-depth discussion. And I responded very politely and said that we could get that set up. But thus far, I have not heard back from her. Now, before that, and this is going to be the main thing with this channel, or with this video, excuse me, is I did go on her channel to get on this panel. And I do want to say right off the bat that I'm very grateful. I mean, not overly grateful, not like on my knees grateful or anything like that, but still, it was a cool thing. She pretty much brought me on the channel immediately. I got in the chat and I said, Grace, bring me on, and she brought me on within seconds. Maybe a minute, maybe seconds is not purely accurate. It was like a minute. And actually, and the reason why I had not gone on earlier was because I was at work and I was kind of just listening in the background and commenting, talking shit in the comment section. And it was a lot of fun, but I got home and I decided, shoot, fuck, they're still having the show. Fuck, let's hop on. And so I hopped on real quick, and she was a super good sport and brought me on. She gave me a really nice introduction, and that was that. Now, before I'm not going to play too much of the video because, there really wasn't a ton of highlights, and it's things that I discuss on my channel left, right, and center. But the main topic of discussion was, why do women like older men? And really, when I was on, the conversation divulged more into the space of how modern men should look at dating. And, you guys know that my take on that is fairly simple. I think that by and large, the best thing and the most natural thing is for a man to find a woman to marry and to have kids. Now, with that being said, under the church and things like that, and preferably, you would not engage in premarital sex or anything like that. You'd get to know each other, and then you get married, and you would continue that sexual relationship after the marriage. Now, I always also commonly say that we live in the West. We live in modernity, and the chances of you finding a woman that is a virgin is highly low. which means that because there will be a lot of Christian YouTubers and things like that will say, well, you can just, it's no problem. They'll say to the critique and to the manosphere guys saying that that guys shouldn't get married, Christian guys will say, no, you should still get married. You just got to find yourself a traditional woman. Okay. And then my answer to that is, well, there's only so many of those women to go around. And those women, those traditional women, are not always the most normal, shall we say. Okay. Some of them are actually quite strange and quite weird. So, you know, you're kind of danged if you do, danged if you don't. And my major pushback, which I said on this, is that in general, the West is so against the nuclear family, in particular against men, that it makes it nearly impossible to hold the position that you must hold as a man with your wife to have a successful relationship. And in this debate, now, again, people would say back to me, well, you need to be the change that you want to see in the world, yada, yada, yada. And for the most part, I would agree with that. Okay. But sticking to this video, you know, Ben, I couldn't really decide where he was at on this topic. You know, on one hand, he's saying that you need to be like this obnoxious fucking, you know, ass slapper, calling women bitches and hoes and tricks and bimbos. And, you know, that's why he has the house for the wayward hoes and things like that. But on the other, it's pretty obvious that that is not successful. I mean, you know, women, any guy who gets women knows that there's a certain dream selling that must be done, even with the natural and pure desire that exists from a woman. There's a certain dream that must be sold, because women, as much as they say that they want to hear the truth, they really don't want to hear the truth. So, but we're just going to listen to a little bit of this and I'm going to react to it. But there was something, like I said, I thought it was awesome that she brought me on so quickly. She was a good sport. Grace herself didn't really come at me very often. My overall impression after being on this panel and kind of having some time to think about my time on the panel is that I don't think Ben in particular agrees with at least 50% of the things he says. I think his main goal, and I'm not saying that in a mean manner, okay? I'm not saying that in a confrontational manner. There is a method to the madness. I think that Ben, really, his main goal is to have panels like this and to kind of facilitate discussion. And if that requires him to be absurd and kind of outlandish, then that's what he's going to do. If that is what makes the conversation interesting and continuously moving forward, then that is what he will do. And, you know, I don't necessarily have an issue with that. But that, whereas before I came onto this panel, I thought that this was a guy that just really liked hearing the sound of his own voice, that, you know, that was just spewing nonsense, that was just a common boomer. And for the most part, those critiques still remain. But now I see him in those things remain, but I just see it slightly shifted in that, while that is true, his main motivation is not necessarily those things. It is the facilitation of discussion. So let's go ahead and listen to a little bit of this. Ooh,
Indifferent.
Who's the worst? Who's number 3? I know who's number 3 on that list.
I love dick is the worst one.
No,
Actually, I don't love. Yeah, okay. We're gonna go for indifferent to penis.
indifferent.
By the way, I couldn't figure out if Lalo, he kind of, I think that's his name, Lalo. He kind of has a slightly effeminate voice. I don't know if he is, you know, or not. But when I first got on the panel, I kept hearing this guy just fucking saying this like random shit in the background. And then I remembered randomly on this panel, I'm like, oh shit, I've seen one of these panels before. This guy, that's what he does. He gets on this panel and he just basically he's somebody who goes after everybody on the panel to get them all hyped up and kind of juice up the content and things like that. So, but for the most part, with what he did say, I found him mostly on my side. Or rather, not on Ben's side. All right, let's continue.
Is going to be number 3, right?
Yeah,
Different
because the other two are interested. And with women, it's just a lot of times it's just a matter of saying like, now I think you could go to a lot of feminists and go, look, I want to stick my dick in you. I don't want you on the birth control. Like it wouldn't take much, and just say like, so are you down? And I think
I wish I had pointed this out, but it was kind of hard because number one, my mic was not when I was able to re-listen to going on this panel, my mic was not the loudest. Thanks, Grace. But it's also my fault too. I should have, when I first came on, I should have said, can you guys hear me? How's my volume sound? Just so you guys know, this is only the second time that I have gone on somebody else's channel. The other person's channel that I've gone on is Kyle's. Let me see if I can get that pulled up here. Let's see. Oop, not Kyler, Kyle. Kyle's channel, this dude right here, Orthodox. I had an interview with him, so he has a channel that he interviews people. So if you want to check that out and see my interview, you guys can do it. Plus, I linked the video in one of my videos that you can find on my channel. So this was only my second time on somebody else's channel. I was not as crisp and as thought out on the procedures and kind of how everything goes. I was not nervous, but I really just wanted to make sure that I said what I wanted to say, that I remained mostly calm. But as far as like the nuptials of, volume sound and shit like that, I didn't. But anyways, I wasn't able to really say this because it was very hard to interject with how fucking not loud my mic was. But I wanted to say to Ben when he was saying this shit, don't you say that you're not supposed to engage in premarital sex? I mean, I've seen him say that in like 6 fucking videos. Okay. And then on a panel like this, he's saying shit like just, fucking stick your pee-pee, just say you want to stick your thing and fuck the birth control. And I wanted to corner him on that. But like I said, the mic was all fucked. So anyways.
I think a lot of them would say, I'm down. That's what I want, obviously. I was just crying because no one is saying like.
And so what I'm saying is not even Ben believes that, because like I said, on other videos, I've seen him say that he believes in that he does not believe in premarital sex. And he uses that as a main critique against his own wife. That was a major issue in their whole relationship, that she was able to seduce him into that sort of response.
Like, down for what?
They're going to deliver this. All the things that women want.
No, down for what? Are you down? What does that mean?
Down for everything.
And suicide? What do you mean?
Down for having a baby in him that night.
Oh.
Like, right? I mean, I've met women in their 30s.
So marriage.
Yeah, essentially, yes. Yeah.
Well, so that's not realistic.
What Courtney did?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I'm just saying, like, okay, so
I'm
like,
just saying something that's
Grace.
And
okay, let me have you rank.
Well, that's not realistic.
If a girl says I love dick, a girl says I hate dick, or a girl says I'm indifferent to dick, which is the least interesting one for a guy?
Who's the
Remember,
least
1 plus 1 equals 2.
The
Unless we're
fattest one.
breeding.
The fattest
See,
one.
that's the thing is that Ben asks these like weird fucking questions that are never realistic. And so, I'm on this panel and I'm just trying to get a gauge on everything. And he's asking questions like this. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay, and that's going to be the indifferent one, right? Because that's a way of saying,
I mean, most
not
women
doing it.
are
I'm not in the
indifferent to
game.
most men when it comes to thinking sexually.
Which,
like
by
that,
the way,
quite
your whole
frankly.
question is like really who's the easiest
That is
pussy to
not
get?
true.
Fat girls. Fat girls.
Okay. When Grace said that, I could not believe that was the thing that she did not agree with that I said. That is like the most true thing that everything I said on this panel was true, but that was the most true thing I said on this panel. Okay. If you look at dating sites, if you go to I know from my own anecdotal experience, if you go to a high school or you go to a college, you look at dating sites, who are girls purely interested in sexually? It's the top 10% of guys. Now, whether that has some influence of money or physicality and things like that, it varies, but overall it's the same roughly 10 to 20% of guys that are getting all of the female attention. I could not believe that she said that she disagreed with that. That is pure lunacy. That is pure lunacy. Women are not interested, broadly speaking, sexually in the same amount, broadly speaking, of men. If you look at the whole population of men and you look at the whole population of women and who they find attractive in that group of men, it will always only be roughly 20% of the guys. In fact, on dating sites, it's even worse than that. But if you look at the guys, all the guys, and who they find attractive for all the girls, it'll be roughly about 50, 60% of them. Guys, what's the common saying? Guys fuck what they can get, or they are only, guys are only as truthful as their, or they are only as trustworthy when it comes to not cheating and things like that, as far as their options go. Whereas women, on the other hand, it's far different. They have access to far more guys. By and large, more women have more access to guys sexually, not relationships, but sexually, by and large, which is why guys don't really respect when girls can have 30, 40 bodies. Because what's the whole lock metaphor? A lock that opens many keys is a great lock, but a key that opens many locks is a great key, but a lock that is opened by many keys is not. Whatever the fuck it is. I forget what the saying is. So anyways, I could not believe that she disagreed. I think I honestly, reviewing it, I think that she didn't even she had a little slow girl moment, and she just decided to spurg out and said, I do not agree.
Guys are lying. You guys are lying. Sean Connery played Barbara Walters' interview.
Statistics.
Barbara Walters' interview.
And you can even hear me in the background saying, just look at Bumble statistics.
He articulates a reasonable birth control. Like it wouldn't take much, and just say like, so are you down? And I think a lot of them would say, I'm down. That's what I want. Obviously, I was just crying because
down for
no
what?
one is saying like,
down for what?
They're going to deliver this. All the things that women want.
No, down for what? Are you down? What does that mean?
Down for everything.
Suicide? What do you mean?
Down for having a baby in him that night.
Oh.
Like, right? I mean, I've met women in their 30s.
So marriage.
Yeah. Essentially, yes. Yeah.
Well,
so
that's not realistic.
What Courtney did?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I'm just saying, like, okay, so
I'm
like,
just saying something that's inane and
okay. Let me have you rank. If a girl says I love dick, a girl says I hate dick, or a girl says I'm indifferent to dick, which is the least interesting one for a guy?
I would say most guys would take the chick
Um,
that says that she does not like dick because it shows she's not promiscuous.
Who's the
Remember,
least
1 plus
inter-
1 equals 2.
the
Unless we're
fattest one.
breeding.
The fattest one.
Okay, and that's going to be the indifferent one, right? Because that's a way of saying,
I mean, most
not
women
doing
are
it. I'm not in the
indifferent to
game.
most men when it comes to thinking sexually.
Which,
like
by
that,
the
quite
way, your whole
frankly.
question is like, really, who's the easiest
That is
pussy to
not
get?
true.
Fat girls. Fat
you
girls.
guys are
I still cannot
lying.
believe she said
You guys
that.
are lying. Sean Connery played
not.
Just
Barbara
look at
Walters'
Bumble
interview.
statistics. You can hear me in the background say, "Come on, Grace, just look at Bumble." And it's true. I still can't believe she disagreed with that, but whatever.
Barbara Walters' interview. He articulates a reasonable situation in which a woman can be smacked. 99% of the women watching that, their pussies were wet and said, "That's what I want." They might not say it with their mouths, but they're saying it with their
Yeah, it's
lips.
only because it was
We don't
Sean
disagree.
Connery.
We don't
because
even
it was a
dis- right.
fucking cultural icon sex
Yeah.
figure saying it.
He had
Okay,
status, power,
right.
authority. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But like,
They
so
want that guy.
so-
they
so
want a
it's
famous
not really
movie star
about-
to put me in my
Right.
place. Yeah.
now, if
yeah.
some manosphere guy says that, it doesn't
Yeah,
work.
if that guy with no teeth
so-
who came in earlier does it, they don't want that.
Actually, I think he'd get more play than you'd think because he's
So, anyways, I don't really care if you guys want to watch it. Go back and watch it. I started at, I want to say, let's see here. I came on at roughly 417, 418. If you guys want to go check it out, and I went all the way to, for a pretty long time, 454. I mean, this is pretty much the tail end of it. I say more at the beginning part. Towards the end, Ben would not shut the fuck up. He is loud as fuck. And constantly he really does have a problem just letting people state thoughts and shit like that. And listen, well, technically this was Grace's video. But it's point and listen, I'm not necessarily hating on the guy for that, but it's just it is hard to have any vocal time when either, well, one, when your mic volume is down, and two, any thought that you have is interrupted by Ben fucking yelling super loudly with some random question. Now, again, I think that that's just his style. And I still appreciate being on the show. And, I'd probably go back on. I'd probably go back on and do it. But again, two things can be true at once. On one hand, it can be true that it's very difficult to get a coherent thought out. And on the other, it can be true that overall the panel was okay. So I enjoyed my time. I just wanted to highlight this for you guys. Like I said, if you guys want to go back and watch it, you guys can. I did make reference to Ben and his kind of take and some of his comments that were kind of fringe and cringe sexually. And I am glad that I held my ground, because I think after being on this panel, I think he likes talking about that. I think he likes baiting people in to discussing that type of fringe topic. And I held my ground. I said, no, I'm good. You guys have talked about it enough. You said what you said. And in general, really all I was saying with that is that Ben likes to be fringe. That's really all I was saying. I wasn't making a comment or judging what he said. I was merely saying that he likes to be a what is it called? Not a fringe bro, whatever the fuck it's called. He likes to be very out there. It's not a debate, bro. I'm forgetting what exactly it's called. That's all right. But there was one more thing that I wanted to touch on here. So I end up leaving.
It's a little crazy, but like
Ooh,
He'll
what
take
guy?
home the toothless horse. Yeah, sure.
The leprechaun
the guy who was eating rocks.
People.
Yeah, sure.
Hey guys, listen, Ben, I enjoyed talking with you. Okay, so I'm leaving. Okay. And before you guys listen to what I say, and this actually pissed me off quite a bit. It annoyed me a lot, actually. I was very respectful. I said, thank you for having me on. And really throughout the whole panel, I was quite respectful and chill to Grace, to Ben. I really didn't push or lean that hard on Ben. Even though it looked like he just fucking woke up for the day in this video. But fucking big tech decides to go in on me. Fucking big tech. And I give big tech a compliment before I leave, because basically the whole clip is me and big tech pretty much being on the same side, and Lalo for all intents and purposes, disagreeing and being on the same side against Ben. So much so that even Grace had to like take a shot at our ability to get women to get pussy, which, by the way, Grace, come on. Come on now. Totally unfounded. Totally not true. Big tech, if he's 6'2", that definitely does help him. I myself am 6'2". I'm a former Division I water polo player. I've done just fine with women my entire life. So, but she had to come in and provide some cannon fire for Pops, which so be it. But big tech had to say some bullshit here that was really fucking passive aggressive, and I didn't like it one bit. And you know, after the show, I went back and I thought about it. I'm like, fuck, I remember he was having a lot of drama on Cozy. And then I went and looked at Cozy. He's no longer on Cozy. So I thought that he, you know, the whole panel, I'm thinking that he's, you know, kind of on my side of things, like broadly speaking. He's no longer on Cozy. And going back, I do remember the drama that kind of presented itself with big tech. And he kind of gives me this kind of like backhanded, right after I fucking gave him a compliment, he gives me this backhanded pussy ass bullshit when I'm not even there. And then he provides cover by saying that he wanted to ask me this, but he just didn't get a chance to. And it's like, dude, you could have fucking asked me. We both know I was on the panel for 20-25 minutes. Okay. Not all of us can live our lives fucking all day long on the internet. But this is what he had to say. Yeah, I do have to get going. I appreciate you guys bringing me on. Big Tech, you are totally based, dude. So just keep it up. Bro. And thanks again, guys. Have a good night.
Too bad he's
See you later. Thanks for coming on.
Is that guy, I wanted to know from that guy if he's married and how long, and does he have kids?
No,
no, he's single.
You could see by the decorations on the back. He's never been with.
So, and even Ben provided some bullshit. Okay. Number one, this is just my office. I think, you know, do I have some guy decorations? Of course. But is it really that? I don't think that a guy having decorations in one room, okay, these are 3 degrees, by the way, okay, is really really says much about whether they're married or not. Okay. Now, I will say that my arguments probably do have a lot to say about whether I'm married or not. And, you know, you can clearly see that I don't have a ring on. But I just find it absolutely hilarious how fucking quickly he said that and Grace said that, when it's like, dude, this is just one fucking room in my house, and it's where I record. Do I have some sports decorations? Sure, but I know plenty of fucking married guys who have sports decorations in their office. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. So
that is a bachelor.
No, it seems cool. No offense, but a lot of times, I mean, I do hear even when they give a base take, a lot of the guys who have the most opinion opinionated. They don't like know of that, wherefore they speak or whatever.
All right. Here's another problem that I'm noticing then. Okay.
So Grace
Okay.
totally saved big tech there. She actually did it a few times. I noticed on this. Holy fuck. God damn, Ben is a fucking slob, bro. Actually rewatching this, I'm actually kind of getting some added tension with Grace and Ben. It's just it's so fucking funny that Grace is saying that with her dad in the background with a fucking sandwich in his mouth and a bed that isn't even fucking made, bro. It's not even made. But she really just said that. I've come to the decision that she really just said that because she it's just classic women. When they see a single guy, women don't like guys who are perennially single because especially ones that get action, because that means that they're not choosing them. Now I'm not saying that with Grace, but the way that they said that was, to me, held no, there was no evidence of that. What I have in the background here, to me, doesn't say much about my place, my home being a bachelor pad or not being a bachelor pad. And most of what I have in the background are 3 diplomas. So, but as far as big tech goes, okay, I just find it extremely disingenuous that he waited until the very end to say that, especially right after I threw some showed him some love by saying, that he was totally based, and he's not even fucking right. Number one, how about this? How about Nick Fuentes, who he used to support big time? What about Nick Fuentes' take on all of these things? Would you say the same thing with that? Now, maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. Secondly, this whole idea that you can't have an opinion unless you are this. You can't have an opinion on sports unless you play sports. You can't have an opinion on the Republican Party unless you're in the Republican Party and you're a senator. It's fucking nonsense. I think he was still a little butthurt from earlier in the video when I came in hard on him and said that he didn't hold boundaries with his wife. And it's true. That's probably why it didn't work. And he said as much. I was only stating what he had said himself. Okay. And I didn't really make fun of it. I said that was tough and hopefully he learned from it and he's grown from it. I really kind of said it in a really endearing, positive way. But again, this whole idea that you can't have your opinion is not valid unless you did this, unless unless you can't talk about sports, unless you play for the Washington fucking or unless you play for the fucking Dallas Cowboys. That's just fucking dumb. The third thing is that I wanted to say about what Big Tech said is I really wasn't even like that talkative or aggressive on this panel. I said a few things, but the person who talked the most was fucking Big Tech. I barely talked any more than Laszlo. And the things that I did say, or Lalo, or whatever, Laszlo, Lilo, and Stitch, whatever the fuck his name is, fucking Lily. I barely talked more than fucking Lilo here. And most of what I said really just came from my opening statement, in which I basically came at Ben and called out his hypocrisy in saying that men need to act like this, this, and this when he didn't do it in his own marriage. Okay. And any subsequent answer that I had after that was mostly answering Ben's fucking ridiculous questions that he had. So I don't think that I was that talkative, that I was that opinionated on the matter. And the last thing the last thing that I want to say on it is, even if I was, it's perfectly fine. Big Tech has many opinions on things in which he does not do or is not a part of. And for me personally, and I've told you guys this on my channel many times, I'm probably similar to Grace in this fact that I have firsthand experience seeing the intersexual dynamics between men, between a husband and his spouse and his wife, rather, as I have seen it as a child with my dad and my mother that he married and my stepmom. So I've seen it play out in front of me multiple times. Now, does that make me have a biased take? Of course it does. Of course it does. I won't say that I'm not biased, but I do have firsthand experience to that. And dude, I've dated. It's just I don't want to brag about like have this be a soft brag, but it's like, dude, anybody who has dated a woman, regardless of being married or not, pretty much knows what it's like to be with a woman. Okay. Now, are there some refined points that you could get only in marriage? Sure. But by and large, once you've intimately been with a woman relationally, in an emotional and physical relationship, you pretty much know the ins and outs of what it's going to entail. And it doesn't change the fundamentals of needing to hold frame, of needing to set boundaries as a man, of, maintaining masculine friendships with other men and things like that. It doesn't change any of that. So really, in the end, he really just wanted to give me a backhanded compliment on my way out. And I got to tell you, I kind of find Big Tech to be a little bitch at this point. And, I'm not surprised, that he's not, now all of the drama that I've seen surrounding him on Cozy and on YouTube and shit like that, I'm not surprised, because I've seen this before with him, that he does these kind of passive aggressive, fucking low key bitch comments that, so one thing I'll say for Ben is at least Ben will say it right in front of you, even though, he said it too.
Men think backwards. And we need to recognize your point?
That. We all know this.
Yeah. Okay, so you agree with me. We
all know this.
You agree with me.
Yeah, but what's the point of what you're saying?
My point is,
water is wet.
Instead of us saying, let's go to the gym and let's do this and that and get status and blah, blah, blah.
We don't want to fuck feminist whores.
Like,
anybody can do that. Go to the college campus, fuck a blue-haired lesbian. She ain't had dick in a while. If you offer to her, she's going to take it.
He's at a lower level of intelligence, lower stratosphere of existence, okay? It's the opposite of monk mode. It is coom first.
Yeah, dude, you're looking for low-hanging fruit.
I'm not, though. I'm not. I believe...
You're seething right now.
I believe in the like the full Catholic sort of understanding of.
Who cares about the Catholicism aspect, nigga? Just defend it.
Well, there's no contradiction. I say you're a pussy if you wear a condom. You're a pussy if she's on birth control. You're a pussy if you allow her to have an abortion.
That are these like feminists in college have birth control up the wazoo. If you've dealt with any college girls, they always are.
So you recommending to go inseminate a feminist at the college?
I think, I think a lot of them, if you just made the full play.
He only does that because he's never even gotten close to doing it. So
producing weed, and they shouldn't. By the way, it's very bad for them, and it changes their hormones drastically, and makes them choose weak men, because they end up trying to. It changes their hormones so much that it changes their natural inclinations as a woman to choose a strong man that can protect them. Oh, shit.
Tap them on their ass. They're looking for daddy to come and give them
birth control. Like, it wouldn't take much. And just say, like, so are you down? And I think a lot of them would say, I
am. Cancel Snapchat. Cancel TikTok.
He articulates a reasonable situation in which a woman can be smacked. 99% of the women watching that, their pussies were wet and said, that's what I want. They might not say it with their mouths, but they're saying it with their
yeah. It's
lips.
only because it was
We don't
Sean
disagree.
Connery.
We don't
because
even
it was a fucking
right.
cultural icon sex
Yeah.
figure saying it.
He had
Okay,
status, power,
right.
authority. Yeah.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
but like, so
they want that guy.
So
they want
so
a
it's
famous
not really
movie star
about.
to put me in my
Right.
place. Yeah.
Now, if
yeah.
some manosphere guy says that, it doesn't
Yeah,
work.
if that guy with no teeth
so-
who came in earlier does it, they don't want that.
Actually, I think he'd get more play than you'd think because he's fun. It's a little crazy, but like
Ooh,
I
He'll
what
think
take
guy?
home the toothless horse. Yeah, sure.
The leprechaun
the guy
guy.
who was eating
People-
rocks.
Oh.
People.
Yeah, sure.
Hey guys, listen, Ben, I enjoyed talking with you. I do have to get going. I appreciate you guys bringing me on. Big Tech, you are totally based, dude. So just keep
Thanks,
it up.
bro.
And thanks again, guys. Have a good night.
Too bad he's
See you
gotta go.
later. Thanks for coming
Hey,
on.
is that guy? I wanted to know from that guy if he's married and how long, and does he have kids?
No,
No, he's single.
you could see by the decorations on the back. He has never been with
That
a
is a bachelor.
No, it seems cool.
pad,
No,
my friends.
no offense, but a lot of times, I mean, I do hear even when they give a base.
So anyway, in that second go around, I heard Ben say you can tell he's never been with a woman. Again, it's just so funny that he's saying that when the only thing, number one, he looks like he just rolled out of fucking bed, and number two, he looks like he potentially just fucking raped somebody in this fucking thing beside him with the bed that's not made. It's just, so but this is a lesson that I think is good for just most people to learn, that in general, you should not take so seriously what people say, because most of the time they're just talking shit. Most of the time they're either talking out of a place of jealousy or some self, a place that is coming from their own discomfort with themselves that they are putting and projecting onto you. Selfish, that's the word I was looking for, and their own selfish thing. So I still don't think that what's behind me is a bachelor thing. I have in my office, I have my whole, and by the way, again, this is for fucking podcasting. It's like, but I have my a cross, I have icon, I have a few books. I do have some sports decorations, but I also have 3 degrees. So whatever the fuck. But overall, it was decent to be on there. What I was not prepared for, though, was just how kind of just in general, how haterish people are and things like that. And I guess I'm guilty of that too, as I provided some hate towards, not hate, but just certain response to Grace and her dad and stuff like that. But I would still say everything I said again, and I think I said it mostly in a respectful manner, so I really don't have a problem with that. So anyways, guys, if you guys want to go check out that video, I think it's on or me being on there, I think it's on GraceThorp's channel. We'll see if I can have her on. But to tell you the truth, after kind of hearing that last response, I don't know if I would do it. Because in general, I'm just not a big fan of people mindlessly talking shit. And so we'll see. But nonetheless, that was my experience on there. It was a decent experience, and I think it's good to test one's limits and one's boundaries and kind of step into new environments and things like that. So anyways, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the fucking drill. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. And facts are feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. Love you, Kings. See you, Kings, next time. Peace.